everybody out tonight. We'll start tonight as we usually do with a prayer request list.
Oh.
We need to remember Angel Williams' mom as she's sick. We need to continue to remember Scotty Yeaman as he's recovering. Tina Gattenbein's father as he continues to recover from knee replacement. Miss Norma Mitchell's son-in-law, Jeff Flowers, as he continues to heal. Miss Robin Moore's mom as she continues to recover.
She's a lot better.
She's a lot better? Good. And Mr. Roger Gregory that passed away. Many of y'all knew him. Is there anybody else we need to add to that list? If not, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you thanking you for this beautiful sunny day that you've given us, for ever blessing the life you give us. Father, we're a blessed people, and we just want to thank you for that. Father, we know that as healthy as we are and able to be out tonight, we know there are those that were mentioned earlier that are not that healthy, and Father, we just want to pray for them, and pray if they be sick that you'll be with them or recovering. Father, just help them to continue to recover. Father, for those that lost loved ones, just, Father, be with them and give them a comfort that only you can provide. Father, we want to always be thankful for this school system we're involved in. It's one of the best in the states, Father, and we just want to continue to pray for it, for all of our teachers and faculty and staff, and especially the children here. And while everyone's out on vacation, we just continue to pray, Father, that you'll keep everyone safe. Father, as we continue on this night, we just want to pray that you'll continue with us. We just want to thank you for your Son. It's his name we offer this prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, we were going to start with our Golden Apple Award.
Kim.
I don't see Kim or Mr. Fry.
Yeah, Mr.
Is he here?
Fry's here.
Where's he at?
Miss Norman.
But Kim,
Oh, I can't see. Oh, there you are. Couldn't see you behind Miss Norma. I'm
Kim
sorry.
has the stuff.
It's, Miss
Kim.
Kim was supposed to.
I can't sit in this chair. Seen it here.
I know.
You may have to present.
I don't have the stuff.
Oh, she got the stuff?
Uh-huh.
Well,
Let's, we'll take that out of order, if that's okay.
We'll do
We'll
that
just
then.
give her time to get here. We'll move on to our consent items. Do we have a motion on our consent items?
Motion to approve consent items A through J.
Ms. Moore, do we have a second?
second.
Mr. Apple, any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have our superintendent actions. Hope everyone had a chance to look at those. Quite a few of them this time. Now we'll move on to new business A. This is a policy amendment 6.200, attendance. This is a second and final reading. Do we have a motion on new business A?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Gattenbein, any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Move on to new business B. This is policy amendment 4.603, promotion and retention. This is also a second and final reading. Do we have a motion on new business B?
So moved.
Ms. Moore, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Apple, any discussion? If there's no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. New business C. This is new policy 6.4052, opioid antagonists. I've been practicing that one, Ms. Moore. Do we have a motion on new business C? This is the second final reading as well.
Make a motion we accept.
Second.
Mr. Apple and Ms. Moore, any discussion? not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. New business D. Policy Amendment 6.319, Alternative School Programs. This is the first of two readings. We have a motion on new business D.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Gattenbein, any discussion? If there's no discussion, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. New business E. This is approval of the fiscal year 19 voluntary pre-K grant award 2018-19 school year. We were awarded 4 classrooms. We have a motion on new business E.
So moved.
Ms. Moore, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Taylor, any discussion? This involves money, so we'll just roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. New business F. This is the Smith County Board of Education membership dues for 18-19 school year. We have a motion on new business F.
Make a motion on new business F.
Ms. Gattenbein, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Apple, any discussion? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. New business G. This is request permission for construction of a field house at GHS. Do we have a motion on new business G?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Gattenbein, any discussion? And this would be fully funded by boosters, my understanding.
Is it appropriate to now that the principal, Shane, I kind of put you on the spot, but could you give the board, I know what's going on, but I worked with you the other day, could you fill the whole board in on kind of what you're looking at doing at the field house and how you're going through the proper channels and what all that consists of?
I first approached the city of Lawrenceville for a building permit, had a little, not issues, but questions. Then went to Mr. Lynn McHenry, who is the county building inspector, who answered some questions about state farm marshal rules and everything. We were going to build a 6,000 square foot building, just a 100 by 60 building. With that comes a lot of submitting paperwork to the state farm marshal. So he told us to divide it, which has worked out best for us. So we've made a 60 by 40 building and a 60 by 60 building with 10 feet of between them is what Mr. Lynn told us to do. So we will be constructing, it'll be constructed basically on a practice field and parking lot area. We're having to take about 16 parking spots to build that, and the rest of it will be open up. We'll be able to walk out onto our practice field when we do that.
Cool.
And it will all be funded. We've been in the process of raising money and funds to do that, so it's all funded privately.
And it will be something that looks very nice, it's engineered, it won't just be a barn, I mean, it's nice, it will make the campus even more attractive.
Mr. Travis Dudney, he's a contractor who's building most of the houses here, is the guy he's the person that I went to, he's got children there, so he's kind of guy that's overseeing it. And then I told Mr. Manning earlier, I chose Waltz out of Lafayette because they're the ones that constructed the heating facility we have. So we're actually going to have the buildings are basically going to be roughly 4 foot block high, and then the metal will be sitting on top of it and it'll be the same color. It'll resemble the heating facility that we have over there beside the football field.
I have a question. Is the payment coming from the school to
No.
build this, or from the boosters?
Well, it'll be just raising money being funneled through football fundraising.
I think a lot of it, and again, explain this too, a lot of it is through donations, is that right? Like you said, did you tell me somebody had done donated about 30,000 in lights and wiring and labor? So a lot of it just be donation of labor and time.
Yeah,
As long as it's coming through school books or more.
it's all being paid through football fundraising.
Yes.
The county. And we're selling pavers, I mean, some things we're selling people to put names on, and, we have.
Just make sure, Norm, if there's anything we don't
The
want.
issues have always been when a booster club's been in charge, and they're responsible for paying and getting the contractors, and there's been a lot of fraud with that, as long as they run it through.
Shane is overseeing the whole deal
As
too,
long as
so.
they run it through
Alright,
school
I ain't
and
got a
Shane
problem with
signs
that.
off on everything, it should be, and it's board, it should be okay.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay. Any more discussion? Really, this doesn't involve money, so we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. New business H. This is request permission for construction of a baseball and softball complex, GHS. We have a motion on new business H.
So moved.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Taylor, any discussion? And I do, and before I say this, please do not think that I do not support this. I think getting anything away from this down here is great for the community, and they need their own fields over there. My question to the board is, if we put this on that property, the building committee's not met with Mr. Rose yet, correct?
Correct.
So we don't know what he's wanting on the other property.
Correct.
If we put baseball fields here, does that pretty much, if he's wanting a full facility over there, that does away with that? Because you're going to have baseball fields, football fields, everything staying over at the current Goreville High School.
Possible.
This is what I'm asking. Are we tying ourselves? And I support this. I support. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm just saying this gets into another.
Well, it's more than just baseball.
It's more than just baseball and softball fields. Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, and basically what you're saying is,
Are we making our decision right now?
the proposal with Mr. Rose is a full, as of right now on the table, a full campus high school with fields. Of course, we also know that we're going to have to purchase property to put the fields on, because there's not enough room over there. So, right now, we hadn't met with Mr. Rose. We don't know actually when we're gonna meet with Mr. Rose.
I have a date
As of
this
date,
month.
not yet, and then we
Could-
need to
can-
talk,
can-
we'll have to sit down and talk to him about, what can we do and can't we do.
Mr. Vaden, is this something that needs to be voted on tonight, or could we push this till we hear from Mr. Rose and see exactly? I almost see it, if we pass this tonight, we've pretty much made our decision. We've made a bigger decision than just a baseball and softball field.
Well, and I have another question too. I mean, Mr. Vaden can answer yours before I ask mine, but I guess,
No, that's not something, before Mr. Rose donated the property, this was October, November, I had people lined up, if we purchased that, and everything was because we knew we were gonna have to build it and pay for it. So I started that process of trying to get people to do excavating work, and, I know I found out with the field houses, it's a huge process.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to, I guess, get that ball rolling, so we can, we were hoping we could play on, when we started all this building, and the Preston project was going by, and then Mr. Rhodes stepped in and said he's gonna donate, kind of threw us a curve. But I had already, we at Gordonsville had already tried to prepare to build and raise money and try to organize a group, because it is I won't say a push, but a thing that the parents and the people want in Gordonsville is their own baseball and softball fields.
And I agree with that. Now, I'm not saying I disagree with that.
I agree with that.
I just felt like we needed, with this deal with the field house, and I'm sure it's gonna be I don't think it's something we could vote for today and start tomorrow, because there's gonna be some, discussion as we, so to answer your question, no, I would think it would be something that we would have to do today.
And I think if you could visualize, if you step in, if I'm, what's in mind, if you end up building on the Rose property, and if you went ahead and gave them permission, what they're talking about doing, if it's permittable once the testing is done, it's on, It's the property that's, like if you come out, it's the actual growed up property that you don't even realize we bought. It's not, as far as an investor, if you want to turn around and sell it off, I don't think it would even hurt. I think there's enough property on paper without an engineer, somebody a lot smarter than me, that go in there with the right tools. But what the theory would be cut that end off that you've got the right of way to, so that it wouldn't even affect the property value. And then if you did still go to the Rose property, that's still in a close enough proximity that it wouldn't affect.
Then why don't, this proposal, why don't we take the rendering, the drawing, the tracks of that, show where that would be sectioned off, that the high school is asking for.
We could get an
that-
engineer to say, yes, this is what they need, and
Right, that
it would work.
sectioned off area before we approve this, you know, and maybe.
Can we push this till next meeting is what I'm asking, so
You
we
can-
can
But
at
in the
least,
if you
meantime,
give me
Look-
permission, then I'll try to get somebody to come in there and spec it and say
Right.
it'll work, and then cut this in.
this
it
is
won't
what we
affect.
would need. Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that way, if
To
we
kinda
decide to
site
go
it
with the
off.
road part, we can still sell what's left of that.
Yeah, and I don't think it would even hurt
Give
the
it
value,
reimbursed.
because you're looking at that, it looks like a swamp, but it's not, it's
But
good
now,
land.
a baseball and softball field is,
It's gonna take up
it's
that
gonna take
pretty
up
good chunk in that.
some room, I mean, you're,
I asked Mr. Collins, Mr. Slick down here, it's gonna take about 7 acres just for fenced in fields. Best estimate he could give me. It was like nearly 4, and I was surprised, it was like 3 point something acres, he told me he fertilized on the Babe Ruth field, and I was kinda like, my goodness, I didn't realize it was that much land.
Well,
so,
we have
so
that-
you're
I didn't know
looking,
anywhere else to go to ask,
If-
so.
if there were-
if you had a small parking lot and you had concessions and bathrooms and some things you're
and
going,
access to it,
you're looking at probably 10 acres anyway, and that'd be a small parking lot.
But I think part of the plan, again, would be, you know, it's so hard to charge for baseball and softball.
Mhm.
And that's one thing, you could use it's so close, you could use your parking you got, and you'd actually have a way other than
walking distance.
yeah, other than your coach's parking and your player, you know, you could actually lock it down, and this is how you get in, you could have an in and out egress through.
Mhm.
You got a good idea of what he's got in mind, I
And
think.
I wanna say.
Oh, I don't-
Smith and I have walked that property, I've gone boots and walked it to see, I mean, some engineers are gonna have to get in there and see, because, I mean, there's water standing in it, but I walked right through it to see what happened.
I walked it
I don't wear boots and it didn't even go over them, but still, there's some spill wells from the interstate that come through there, and there's gonna be a lot of, I think, some things that's gotta be answered. It's kind of the reason that I wanted to present, I knew it would take some time to get that.
Get going, then you can give me permission to,
And,
if you want, whatever you,
Do you know off the top of your head, Mr. Smith, how much property is on that? You know, it's kind of a divided property, like
Yeah.
you said, so do you know how many acres is on that side?
I wanna say, Shane, wasn't there approximately 7 acres in that growed up
yeah,
section?
there's 14 acres on each side of that spill well.
On each side of the spillway, but Robin, looking at it from coming out of the parking lot, what's growed up,
Mhm.
it's about 7 acres, so I kinda had
The
my,
property data, we tried to map all that out as we looked at it, it wasn't hardly 8 acres.
Okay.
It's gonna be a site.
But could we not just direct Mr. Smith to oversee this and let him report back to the board?
I
Maybe?
can come
Yeah,
and tell
let's-
you,
let's-
this, give us a sketch kinda where it would go, and yes, it will work, no, it won't work. I mean,
And we probably, like you
Some
said,
of those plans that you guys had,
Yeah, that was, the fields on them plans.
that seemed, you know, there's 5 or 6 of them, but there was some baseball and softball fields drawn on that.
Maybe in the
We
we may
meantime.
look at that, and like you said, somebody needs to look at, it, make sure we can use it just
Yeah, I mean, I think that.
for the drainage issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that's gonna have to be done.
Do you have any idea just what kind of cost you would be looking at just for excavation?
Now, this is funded.
I know
Okay.
it's funded by them, but the reason for my question is if we ended up building and Mr. Rose, I'm just thinking, and.
Okay, I see where you're
in the
going.
Take off.
I see where you're going.
Yeah, how, if we can't leave those fields, what would we be leaving? And, I mean, and it's not costing us any money, I just don't want them to necessarily invest, you know, $300,000 or
And
whatever
have to
in
abandon
fields
it.
and then have to
Abandon it.
abandon it, yeah. That's the only reason I'm asking the question. I'm totally on board with the idea. I'm just, I'm concerned because we're in limbo, not knowing what this full campus high school idea is.
Well, I think we just should go back to what, between Mr. Smith and Mr. Smith, we're just talking about was, let's just, and Mr. Manning, let's
See if
turn
it'll
it.
work.
Yeah.
See if it'll work
let's
first.
just-
I think you hit dead on what the theory is here. If we all was in agreement and everybody said, here's a check, y'all build whatever you want, we're 7 or 8 years out.
Right.
And
Yes.
we're close to that.
Right.
They could be playing probably,
I was told
Maybe
when
next-
we started in August, we could have played in the spring.
yeah, I'm not sure they
So-
couldn't be playing on, it might not be the
Right.
best.
So if you
But-
started in this August, you could be,
If Joe
Well,
don't need to
that's what
decide,
people-
you know, they could
I'm
probably.
basing it on Mr. Warren telling us there's no rock in it, and Mr. Gill saying that all you're gonna have to do is put it, and then talking to my father-in-law, who's a contractor who excavated all over the state. He says it don't take long to do that, so, you know.
And I
That's
think
what
there's,
I have not had any, and let me say this too, as a principal at Morrisville High School, I would probably still try to kick that can down the road from these boosters and these parents that want to get this done a little until we figured out where we was going to. But, you know, we've been in this thing now for 2 years and
yeah.
I don't know where we're at still, so, you know, I just, we feel like we can pay for it with boosters and being able to charge and holding tournaments and those type of things. And that's, but we wouldn't wanna, I'm with you, Mr. Moore, I don't wanna build a field and put $300,000 in it and that's up and have to, you know, I'm assuming we could just still use them and that's the fields. Surely Mr. Rose would say, hey, there's the fields. I don't think that.
And
I guess I'm assuming that maybe I should.
right.
Well, I mean, I just wanna be, I mean,
Nobody should.
by just what I mean, my job makes me, you know, a little,
Well, I mean, I'm concerned too about building them and then
I
Mr.
don't
Rose
want
saying,
to
hey,
waste, yeah.
we gotta build them here, but I would hope if we had fields built, he's gonna say, hey, that's fine, you can use those fields.
and he probably would, but we don't know, we just don't, as today as we sit here, we don't know the answer to that question.
Let's just direct Mr. Smith and Mr. Baden to kind of look into if this is going to work,
If he
if
does
it would
want to
work,
build
and
up
then
there, they'll go
hopefully
ahead and build up
Next
there.
meeting.
report back, and then hopefully we can get something from Mr. Rhodes at some point.
If he wants it built up there, you know, you can always go ahead and start building it up there.
to answer some part, I wasn't involved, so this is just kind of here. I want to say that original note that the boosters took up there, and that was with us giving them the land, or you guys, it wasn't me at the time. That was about 200,000. I think they've got that down to $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 range. And again, don't hold me to these numbers because that's not us. That booster, and that was with a lot of donations. People came in and gave block and laid block, and you couldn't start to name, and I wouldn't want to because I wasn't involved and leave somebody out. But it's very expensive, and it would take a lot of probably help the budgeting if they wanted to do that. And then to hit up on what Mr. Baden said, you know, being a former high school principal, there's positives and negatives, but that's not the worst thing to have those fields off your campus that close. Because it takes a lot of traffic off that you don't, security-wise, and it's not a bad thing either if it's built right and we do it as we go. I think something people ought to understand too, especially where you're at over there, if you keep in mind, and when you build those right, you can host districts and regions, especially with the teams you've got coming. It's gonna make a lot of difference in the industry, what's right off of that exit over there to these restaurants, and we need to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
It brings a lot of dollars in when you host a district regional tournament.
Well, not only that, but you can combine, you know, you could host tournaments in conjunction with these fields here and then play
Absolutely.
multiple fields, that would be.
You know, Mr. Maiden,
a good way.
he made a great point the other day we were talking. He's talking about, you know, they had a team in the state tournament, and he said, you know, they would come in and prep the field, and it's no offense because that's a city park, okay? But they'd have the fields prepped, get them ready, and they're planning to get to there, and they come in the next day and there's holes dug in them, and they're like where the league had played, and it's not their fault, it's their field. Because we're actually barring it, and that, you know, we've got good teams too.
Oh, I agree. I'm not saying that I disagree. And I hope y'all don't take it that way.
I don't take it that way.
We need to do it the right way.
I don't wanna go sink $200,000 or $300,000 in baseball and softball fields and then that's, again, say, we gotta move, or we.
Right.
But again, I'm assuming Mr. Rose is gonna make you build a baseball field if you already got it. And I know Mr. Apple referenced that in one of the meetings about playing on the campus basically we got. I mean, Hartsville does it.
Mm-hmm.
People do that, so.
Right.
It's, I mean, I think we would be ahead of the game, and it puts us behind the 8 ball with 7 or 8 years down the road, and we're still trying to, I mean, we're appreciative that we can play here, but we would like to have our own place.
I said let Mr. Smith, check us out and kind of give us a schematic.
Do we-
They need
Do
to,
we need
I
to
got no problem with
withdraw
it. I just wanna make sure
I'll withdraw my
they don't have to abandon it, you know, spending all that
Okay.
money.
Mr. Manning's withdrawn his motion.
Whoever seconded
Do
it.
you, Mr. Taylor, do you withdraw your second?
So, I guess, I just wanna make a motion that we appoint Mr. Smith to look into this, to maybe give us some kind of schematics or something, and check in and see kind of if the land is suitable on that end for
Right.
the baseball and softball field, and report back to us at the next meeting.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Gattenbein, any more discussion?
I think we need to talk to Mr. Rose too.
Yeah, yes.
Just as quick as we can possibly
As
talk
we
to
can
him.
get
We're
conversation.
working on
We've
it.
been trying for the last.
Yeah.
month.
Tough right now. Okay, if there's no more discussion, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. New business I. This is transferring funds from 141 to 142. We have a motion on new business I.
Do I need to explain what's going on here?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So
It's
when
not-
I brought
I
the
did
budget to you guys, we talked about how in 73300, community services had been moved from GP to federal. So federal works on a reimbursement procedure where we have to pay for the services, and then we go into E-Plan and they ask for reimbursement of those costs. And we don't have enough money there. We have $100,000 there to cover what we do. We don't have enough money there to do the 21st century funding. And I looked back through last year, and payroll is the big deal. That's the part we can't put off. And in November, we paid out $48,000. That was the biggest month for payroll and benefits. So based on that, I just set it at $60,000 because I don't want to have to come back and do it again anytime soon. And that would cover any increases in the next few years. And if I need to move it back, let's say 21st century funding stops, I can always move it back to, it'll come out of undesignated fund balance.
We're not spending it, we're not using
not
it.
spending it.
They're just using our money basically to let.
It's a reimbursement.
Like a
So
check
we spend
bounce
it
up.
and then we get reimbursed. And then we spend it, we get reimbursed. So at the end of the year, the 60,000 should, it should still be there. It's just that safety net so the auditor doesn't give us a finding for going up, under in any particular month is what it boils down to.
We done the same thing, was it last year, year before last?
2015, I think. There was 100,000 moved at that time to cover the other programs. So it's just to cover that monthly expenditure each month, as long as that funding is coming in.
Okay.
So I don't know if you need more info or if that's enough.
No,
or-
that's it.
Okay.
No, I understand.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Norman.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion on new business I?
So moved.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Apple. Any more discussion or questions for Ms. Norman? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 And can I add, when the Budget and Finance the other night voted on this, they also passed it. The number at the top, Gina, is 06-2018-06. And that needs to be recorded
Okay.
as the resolution number.
Oh, record resolution number.
So when the chairman signs it, that needs to be on there, because I have to take that back to the county commission.
Record resolution number in minutes, right? Got it.
Okay.
Excuse me.
New business I passes. To new business J. It's a bid approval for PowerEdge R530 server from the technology department. We have a motion on new business J.
So moved.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Gattenbein. Any discussion? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. Move on to new business K. This is the bid approval for Dell computers from the Technology Department. We have a motion on new business K.
Motion to approve new business K.
Mr. Moore, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Apple, any discussion? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. New business L. This is request permission to adjust bus fees used for field trips from the bus garage. We have a motion on new business L.
I'll make a motion on new business L.
Ms. Gattenbein. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Moore. Any discussion?
What was the overrate?
It's not it's the fee.
What was the fee?
I don't,
$150?
it was out of, I told her, what it done, it made it more affordable for these small schools. And it also, the way that, one of the auditors had asked her, the disbursement, when it came back in, it was hard to put it back where it went. So it waived that fee, is what it did, and I'd have to go look it up and more to tell you exactly what it is. It's an out-of-county.
Trying to help the small schools, I think, in small distances, they were being charged
You
somehow.
you could live in
Larger
Forks,
fee.
example would be, unless we
Yeah.
waited, you could live in Forks River and went to the, Granville days, whether the Pioneer days or whatever, if they would get that, is it $100 or $110, I think, for stitch in my mind, is that out-of-county trip? Is that, they're at $100, and I'd have to go back and look it up, and see the exact fee, I saw them every day, but I can't remember. But it waives that fee of them having, them going 2 or 3 miles, and it helps them be more affordable for these small schools. And if Miss Diane, as tight as she is, if she's okay with it, it didn't. But,
And then if you go longer trips, so it's.
well, it's still, it's equal, now it's equal if you go for a longer trip or a short trip, it's the same per mile, what we're trying to do.
So a longer trip costs more and a shorter trip costs less.
Right.
Any more discussion? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. New business M. This is a bid approval for diesel fuel. Do we have a motion on new business M?
So moved.
Mr. Taylor, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Moore. Any discussion? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. New business N. This is the bid approval for workers' comp insurance school year 18-19. Do we have a motion on new business N?
So moved.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Apple, any discussion? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. New business O. This is the, get to it here, the approval of the differentiated pay plan 2018-19 school year. We have a motion on new business O.
So moved.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Moore, any discussion? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. Alright. Now we will go to discussion. Have I heard from Ms.
She's coming.
She's coming? Okay. We'll go ahead and do our discussion, and if Ms. Maynard comes in, we may split it up. But we'll start with discussion A, our safety planning. Oh, here she comes. Do we want to go back? Let's go back and do this awards and recognitions. Mr. Fry, he may not want to sit here all night. Miss Maynard, will you come up, please? We're going to do our Golden Apple Award.
Yes, and I apologize. I guess my reminders need reminders these days.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Golden Apple, actually the Apple Award is given out 3 Apple Awards each month. It's a peer-driven program where peers nominate their peers and for things that are above and beyond their everyday work, something special, something that they didn't have to do, it's not something they get paid for. They get recognized every month, 3 people, then that list is compiled and a Golden Apple winner is chosen. And this year's Golden Apple is Mr. Sean Fry.
Speech. You got to do a speech.
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 I've been known to speak off a long time, and I know you guys are ready to go. I feel honored, guys, even be considered. I don't know what it was that I did that was so special, but I graciously and humbly accept this. We had a great year in New Middleton. That's probably an understatement, but I don't deserve any credit for anything that took place there in New Middleton. That faculty and staff, that group of people, they're workers and they're go-getters. It never had to be, whenever something needed to be done or help needed to be done, or I didn't have to tell them, they went and did it. So I appreciate this. I don't feel like I've done anything special. It's the great year is due to those people in that building, and we look forward to greater things yet to come, so thank y'all.
You want to get a picture?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just, I left it 06 blank. I didn't know what number to give. I had to wait until the budget and finance to see what number it would be recorded as. I didn't think you understood me earlier, so I got, well, I circled it. So 2018-06 is the 6th resolution.
Oh, 6.
Yep, okay, got it. I'm gonna slip out, we good? Okay.
All right. Let's move on to discussion A. This is our safety planning. And I think this was where we were all going to kind of have any ideas that we wanted to deflect off Barry or have him look into. Do you want to, you had some things you were going to look up. Do you want to go ahead and kind of
two or
say?
three things. This, James, if I'm speaking out of turn, to catch you up a little bit on Gordonsville was voted for 1 more year, is that correct, to fund the SRO?
Yes, sir, they passed the budget week Monday, and it was included in the budget.
So we're good for 1 more year. And I don't know till this is my opinion, till we find out what this safety grant, Kim, is really going to give us, not give us, allow us to spend. I don't know what we know. And then I only asked Mr. Jones because he's here, the only county commissioner. I said, I've heard, I've not seen it. Maybe I understand that maybe we might get some more help through the county court.
Yes, we're supposed to have a resolution coming up next Monday night. It should, if passed, it'll pay for 3 more.
For 2 more.
3 more.
3 more.
Okay. Okay.
That, I've been hearing 3, but I didn't know if that was just hearsay.
I haven't seen the resolution myself.
So I guess,
That rate can get every school for a year.
yeah. So I guess my thing to you guys, until we see that, not saying it won't happen, but until we see what the grant's actually going, the restrictions and what they tell us we can and can't do, I don't know what we should or shouldn't do till that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, total sense. We need to find out what we can, yeah.
Because I don't think there's anybody sitting there don't want to have an SRO here when school starts. And I think that's the ultimate goal. And I guess we need to see what this grant's going to give us then figure out what we wanna do, how we wanna do it. And then if you're actually going, and I think that's great if they are. Not saying that you're not, I mean, but till we see it, it's hard to budget it.
When will we know with the grant?
That's what my question is.
I'm not
I'm
saying
gonna
an
be done that
exact time. If you,
I got an email this week.
Okay.
That says that the grant application for both the recurring and the one-time will open up the 9th of July and close on August 30th.
the other thing is, I've seen that webinar that we're supposed to be listening to Friday. And
David Morgan's gonna
Yeah.
do it for us. According to the email, it's supposed to tell us how much is it that we can possibly apply for and what the rules are, but not until the 9th.
And it's also changed, and Kim, you step in here too, but it's a moving target from what it begun. At first it was SROs, and now, and I'm even talking to Coach Fry, or I call him Coach, but Coach Fry about, fencing. They're talking about possible fencing barriers or safety barriers, alarm systems, camera swipe cards. We don't know. I can't get a clear picture of what they're going to actually pay for.
Well, and all of those things are safety measures that we need. I mean, those.
Excuse
But
me.
what I'm trying to say, though, we might get SROs and that. We might
Well-
can just spend it on.
That's what
Yeah.
that was what I was getting ready to, the point I was getting ready to make, is that if this funding is passed by the county commission, and I hope that it is, and I've heard from various sources that I think that it probably will likely pass based on, what the best you can tell ahead of time, I suppose, on those type of things. But if that's the case, we're gonna have the funding, not only in our budget, but with the additional money from the county. I think we are in a position to go ahead and make those hires and then let the grant sort itself out. I don't think that we need to wait until the grant closes August 30th to then come up with safety.
No, I think if we know this,
Right.
but I don't think we can.
After midnight, we'll know.
I
Gonna
don't
know.
think we can do anything until Monday,
Yeah.
and then we'll know. But whether we need to, and it sounded like from Sheriff Hopper, when he was here, when we met, we had his
Last week.
special
Yeah.
call meeting
Last week.
last week, that he needs to know sooner rather than later, and I'm not sure that we need to wait until July to actually.
Well, I think where we're at with this though is Mr. Apple here had suggested the possible security. And my question for that, would the grant money that we would be getting, if we would opt and do security, would we be able to apply for that grant money? What were the restrictions? I mean, that's something that you have to know. I mean, what I'm saying is I would like the SRO officers, absolutely. But what I'm also saying is I would like to make sure that we have our schools secured. It's all about
Sure.
security,
Yeah.
in
Most-
place
but,
or
most
training
grants
of
don't-
some type.
Most of your grants you get now, especially in safety, it's for more of equipment type than it is salary type. So you may be able to supplement, equipment for SRO instead of salary. But I don't know. I hadn't seen the restrictions on it, and I hadn't seen what it's made up
Well, there may be
of.
restrictions for LEO versus
But-
LSO or.
SS.
Well,
SSO.
well-
no,
Or,
it's
I mean,
security, licensed security officer versus law enforcement.
I wouldn't put regular security. They'd have to be LEO.
But I'm gonna go back to what you elaborate on. Monday night, actually, they meet and they approve it. We need to contact the sheriff and say, give us 3 more RSO officers.
Yes.
We want them in school the first day of August. Then we wait and see what the grant, because it might be September, October, November.
Before that money ever
But
even.
we
Right.
want them officers in the school when school starts.
That's exactly right. That's my point.
But
And we're paying for ours in our budget. We already got, the city's graciously paying for
But
one
we're on
more.
a
If
discussion.
they pay for 3,
we
you're there.
can't,
We can't take
we
action.
can't take, can we take that kind of action tonight?
We'll take it on a special call meeting or next board meeting. But you could go ahead,
We
you could
can't.
go ahead and give the sheriff heads up what's coming if they pass it. Couldn't you?
I think you would know. I don't know that you can take any formal action as a board without having a meeting.
He's gonna know Monday night, we're gonna need 3 more if that's what they're fixing to, he knows that's gonna be coming, and we can just approve it at our July meeting, make it official. We need 3 more.
They need to
whatever.
be in there in August.
They're not gonna be there in August
That's
anyway.
gonna be on the agenda
I don't
for July,
see it.
and that would let them know
Yeah.
the conflict
Yeah,
of
you do
interest.
that.
So,
You can put temps in there till August. I know a bunch of part-time,
Yep.
retired.
Because if I was the sheriff and I seen them pass that resolution Monday night, I'd always think, well, I'd rather get me 3 guys, get them ready to go.
Well, no,
Which
you're
is-
right. He
which
may
he
get,
says
if
he's
he's got
got
some
them,
that's
they just
post-certified,
come
he
off
may
his
be able to
patrol.
get some.
I mean, I can contact from the school system, Sheriff Harper, and let him know that it's on the agenda, just so that he knows, and,
We can direct
Mr.
him to
Jones, I'm
let,
sure
we
you'll
can
let him
direct him
know
just to
too
let
if
him
it
know.
passed, correct?
That's all I ever
Oh,
used,
well,
was
I
certified.
can't recall a meeting that, the chief.
I
or
never
the
had
sheriff
nobody
had
just went
that.
security.
They're always.
Sheriff's there usually, isn't he?
I can't recall any that
Yeah.
And you do it, we just give him a heads up, it'll be on our
I'll
next
contact
meeting,
him
and
tomorrow.
he might as well be ready.
Or tonight even.
And then we see how the
Put that
grant
on our
plays
next
out, so
meeting.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the grant may play out where it pays for them. Who knows? I mean,
So,
Is there any more questions or anything else we needed on? Anything anybody else had? If not, we'll move on to discussion B, and that is our annual evaluation. I've got my sheets. I think you had 5 of that.
I'd go say.
Yeah, there's 3 of them that
Oh,
ended up
so
blank.
I'm not the only, I'm not
So
the
you're
only
not, no,
delinquent.
you're not the only one. But it's excellent again, Mr. Smith. I mean, it's up. I had to average it out over 5 people, because I didn't get a couple of them back. But
I don't know, it kinda scares me.
Sorry, Perry.
but you can read through the comments that were made on some of them. It come out of 96% last year. I believe it was 92. It gradually went up every year, which is what you hope for. Not gonna get 96 is awesome. We appreciate the work you do.
Well, guys, I honestly, and I want people to know this, and when I took this job, I made it very clear that I wouldn't, not that nobody wins when we don't do what's get along. And if I want to be the best, and I want to work for you guys, and I understand that, and I want you to tell me if I need to do better, but I give all the credit to this board. We've had a board that's been diverse. We've had a board that's come in here that has different ideals, that out of that, we all end up with a better ideal. And I can't imagine anybody working for a better situation than I've had the opportunity to do, and I appreciate that.
Well, we thank
mean
you. We thank you.
Well, I didn't get my paperwork in, but it would have been.
Would yours have drugged the average down?
No, it wouldn't have affected the averaging, so.
I don't know.
So that was just my own fault, but,
And these again are not in district order. These were just in the order that I received them. So
and I agree, there's a lot of good comments on here, and I agree with those, and I appreciate, I told him before, he don't get paid enough to do what he has to do. He talks to me more than he ought to have to.
if there's no more discussion on that, we'll move on to our annual policy review. Anybody have any questions on our May policies? If not, is there any need for executive session? No need.
Mr. Whitaker, are you gonna, maybe a minute for executive session?
Okay.
I'd like to bring up one thing though, and have it added to the
Next agenda.
next agenda, please. I've been working, actually since probably the beginning of the year, and I've been working towards a proposal for an increase that I would like to put before the board, for the next July. So if, you wouldn't mind putting that on there so we can put that together and see if you guys are for my proposal. I appreciate that.
Will do.
Tina and Robin and several of you board members have been I wanna make sure teachers understand that, and employees understand that have been very adamant. Tommy's talked to me about non-certified people, and I think they're about this table, and we all understand. One thing that I want to say is that, guys, there's gonna be a point that people don't stay home because they're staying home, especially when they're beating us to death. And, you know, you guys know that I'm pretty conservative, but we've got to invest in our people, and you know, you guys have been on me about trying to, Norma, I think she has stepped out, but we think we'll have something ready to propose and run the board that'll be across the board that'll help some, and I hope, I'm looking at the mayor candidate back there, the county commissioner, that we're gonna have to have a partnership to keep our people at home, especially to at least get what around us is doing. And I think you can look at our test scores, I think you can look at what we're producing and say that it ain't like, they're not getting paid in accordance, and we're gonna get to the point that we're now having a terrible time staffing and keeping our good people at home. And there's a point where the family loyalty needs to outweigh, especially when you live on some of these county lines, and it's the difference in pay. And so we're gonna have to look, and maybe we can feel like through your hard work that we can come up with something by next board meeting. Should be a plan.
We'll add that on to the next agenda. Okay.
Ms. Kim has something, I think.
I'm sorry, Ms. Kim.
Possible allocations. This one is the safe school that we get. No, this one is the safe school that we get every year.
That's the one we get every year.
Mhm.
Okay.
And this is the one that's the possible one-time.
Okay. That's a one-time, correct?
That's a one-time. This is the 90 is a one-time, but those are all possible. It's
Yeah.
not set in stone.
Pass it around, look at.
Okay. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Gattenbein, Ms. Moore, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We can get everybody to exit.